Hello, today we're yapping about breakups. I have been thinking a lot, doing a lot of research. I have a lot of different thoughts. This is just going to be unstructured yap video. There's another breakup pep talk that's a popular video of mine if you search it, and we're in the breakup space. This is where I recorded the first video, so we're here again, and I'm thinking the title for this video is going to be Breaking Up with Somebody Without Hurting Their Feelings. And then the first line was going to be, you can't. You can't break up with somebody without hurting their feelings. Think about it. Even there are so many things that hurt people's feelings, like even the smallest things. I actually just had to end something with somebody that I didn't even met. Somebody tried to set me up on a blind date, and I learned some things about this person that it was not a good match. I'm just going to leave it at that to be nice. And I said, had to say, I'm not interested. Even that, I felt I didn't even meet this person. I wasn't even talking directly to that person, and I felt bad about hurting their feelings. You can't end something with somebody without potentially hurting somebody's feelings or kind of feeling bad. And this is the number one thing in the research I've done this past bit of time, this past week or whatever, but I've been researching this forever. The number one thing that's crazy and good to remember is when you are breaking up with somebody, you cannot be the good guy in that situation. You cannot be the hero. You cannot help them work through the emotions after the breakup. You're no longer their emotional support, okay? You cannot be the good guy and break up with somebody. When you're breaking up with them, you are going to hurt their feelings, and then you have to be the bad guy, okay? Because it's selfish and it's ego driven to want them to like you and love you and be as connected to you as they always were. As you say, I don't want to be with you. You say, I don't want to be with you, and you accept whatever emotions come up, probably sadness, anger, all of this stuff. And you're not the good guy in that situation, and you can't support them. And I have said this since my first breakup. I said in the beginning, this is going to be so hard for both of us, which it was for some time. And I am so sorry. I cannot be the one to emotionally support you. And one of my exes, he didn't have that big of a support network. And you would be so surprised. People are so resilient and so scrappy in this area. If people need support, there are things that they can do. They're a smart person and they have family and friends that you might not even consider. Like one of my exes, I heard he was reaching out to people that I wouldn't think he would reach out to and having deep chats and processing about our breakup. And I was so glad that he had felt comfortable to reach out to those people. There are also therapists, acupuncturists, coaches. It is no longer your responsibility. They are an adult. You are not emotionally responsible for them in the relationship. And if you feel that, I'm sorry, you're not. And you're definitely not emotionally responsible for them post breakup. And it is only hurting them more if you try to stay as connected or as if you try to take care of their emotions after that point. Another thing I've been thinking about a lot is that humans are so resilient. There's memes on the internet about the post breakup glow ups, but it's so true. Men and women both, you can grow exponentially. You can go through a whole metamorphosis after a breakup. It can shape the rest of your life. One breakup could turn you into the hottest, richest version of yourself, could change your career path. There are so many things that can come from experiences like breakups. Humans are resilient. They can make good out of bad. They can grow, get in shape. Like there are so many good things that can come from a breakup, learning how to take care of yourself. Humans are resilient. And I can understand if you don't believe this right now, and if this isn't one of the first things that you think of, if you haven't been reminded of your own resilience. But draw from examples in your life, like how much you have gone through in your life and how resilient you've been. You've probably gone through some tough experiences. Maybe you've even been the one that got broken up with and you got past it. Like, remind yourself of your own resilience, then you're able to more see it in other people. So for me, I've broken up with so many people, and I've gotten broken up with, have I don't know, I forget, a few times with situationships. But I've been in many situations where the guy isn't that into me, okay? I've been rejected by guys for sure. And I know that sometimes they're just not that into you, just like I'm not that into somebody else, or we're just not a good match or whatever. And that's just, that's called life. And on a side note, you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you. Like, how sad would that, how lame and sad is that to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you, whether or not you know it? And so, in reverse, the kindest, most respectful thing that you can do for the other person is to end it, because point blank, like at the core of it, you don't want to be with them for whatever reason. I keep reaching over to pause this as I look at my notes. Some guidelines for actually how to break up with somebody. I looked up some articles and stuff. So, always, number one is always do it in person. And if possible, don't do it in public. Totally, yeah, don't do it in public. And if you do, like a park or something, or like in a car. I've broken up in a car. I've broken up on FaceTime. I've broken up on on text. Okay, see, I'm getting like emotional. And also, like, I don't agree with the always in person actually. In in a freaking ideal this is a hot take maybe. In an ideal world, yeah, do it in person. But guess what? If you're long distance, don't fucking do it in person. Okay, I need to calm down, but I am such a strong believer that once, because, okay, there's another article that says do it as soon as possible, basically. Where is this? Um, End the relationship sooner rather than later. Once you know for sure that it's not right and you are mostly out of the door and you're like, I'm doing this, I am 100% doing this, and I'm out of here, I think you should end it, and this is my personal opinion, but I think that it works. You should end it in the most kind and respectful and clear, direct way possible. Okay? And if you are living in the same city and you have plans to see each other, do it in person. If it's a situationship, you've seen them just a few times, a text is fine. If you haven't seen them that much, maybe even a call. But no need to like see somebody for this unless it's been a longer relationship or there's a lot of care, love, whatever. I would say a FaceTime is the next best option if you are long distance, because how shitty would it be if you either waited a while until you saw them, or somebody flew somewhere or drove a long way, especially if they're the one traveling. Do not break up with them when they travel. Like, if you know before they travel to you next, break up with them on FaceTime before. And even if you know don't be like, I know I'm going to go down in a month to wherever place, I'll just do it then. No, do it now. Give them time. Yeah, do it sooner rather than later. So, over text, if I have done it over text, there are some relationships where I just feel very attached in some sort of cycle. And when I'm with them, I just melt and I'm like, I only see the good. Like, I have rose colored glasses, whatever. There have probably been 2 times, and it's not the most healthy dynamic when it's like that. So, I had tried to break up with, if I try to break up with somebody and I see them and I convince myself not to, or I start to, and then I'm convinced not to from them, even though as soon as I leave, I'm like, I meant to break up with them and that didn't work. I will then send a text that is super clear. And it depends on the situation whether then we call after or not, if they want to, whatever. But so there's that side of it. And then this is not a situation I've been in, because I am very blunt, direct. I love difficult conversations and crucial conversations. Those are two terms. If you want to look into it, there are books on this. I did presentations in college on them. So I like just getting on the same page with people and being clear, kind, direct to them, even though sometimes that can hurt, especially in breakup situations. So I haven't done this, but if you think that, I guess this is kind of the same as me. Basically, if you don't think that you can have a conversation and have it actually end in a breakup because you're going to get lost in the words, or they're going to get confused, or you're not going to know how to say whatever, then I say do it in a text. If it's either you don't do it or it's in a text, okay? And in the future, though, this might be an area to work on with other partners, is just being more direct and honest throughout the relationship. Okay, moving on though. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay. This says do not try to make the other person feel better, which we've talked about before. And it says that comforting them will likely make them feel worse. It can also backfire and it will make them resent you for being so nice while dumping them. Yeah, and don't hook up, which I would not, but no judgment. Who knows? Yeah, just don't be nice to them. That's just, or what am I trying to say? Be kind, but don't try to make them feel better or solve their emotions or solve their crying. And I would even say then try to end it as quickly as possible, like end the conversation or you leave, and kind of tell them next steps. So this says to, after the breakup, respectfully cut all contact for a short period of time. This is a thing that many people do not muster the courage to do. A lot of people get hung up on remaining friends and actually force contact when it's causing them more emotional stress on both sides and you don't know what they're going through. Research on relationship breakups finds that people who limit contact with one another emotionally recover faster. It seems harder, it seems harsher, but it's better. Not only is it reasonable to refrain from seeing and speaking to each other for a brief period of time, but it's healthy. The more contact you have, the more you run the risk of setting off an emotional time bomb, relapsing and ending up in that messy no man's land of we're not together, but we're still kind of together, but we're definitely not boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm gonna call really quick to check in, but seriously, we're not together. Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, I just read that. This is a Mark Manson article. All of the articles that I reference, I'll put in the show notes in the description below. I have always cut contact for 3 months. Sometimes I will have follow-up calls like 2 or 3 times that week if they want to. I don't know if this is good or not, but I kind of, because sometimes it feels like a bomb, like this is over. Sometimes I'll have a call or a meet up like once or twice to kind of like, yes, this is real, because they will probably want to contact you, and yeah, just to remind them, yes, this is real, whatever. But then I say, we should not, just for the better for both of us, I decided we should not talk for like the next 3 months, I think is a good amount of time. And I've seen that places too. I have, let's see, one ex that I think both of us are in a place where we are able to see each other and shoot the shit, for lack of a better term. Like we can chat, whatever. But you're probably not going to be like close friends with somebody. Um, you can be cordial and everything, but again, after that amount of time. And a lot of times you don't talk that much after the 3 months. And with the ex that now we're kind of friends when we see each other, we're friendly. It was over 6 months before we saw each other. And then it was, yeah, kind of weird for a little bit more time, whatever. But absolutely cut contact for a short period of time. And if you have, yeah, if you live together, maybe the contact stops once one person moves out. If you have a shared pet, or I'm just going to stop it there. I'm not going to give advice on the on kids thing, but I feel like the contact should be very, very limited, and if possible, like even say like for the next 2 weeks I'm nothing. And then if it's something about the dog or the cat or the house that we bought together or something or whatever, then we can talk about that. This says talk to somebody about it. This may seem obvious, but either friend or, yeah, therapist, coach. I help people through this kind of stuff. This also says allow yourself to be sad and upset. Invest in yourself. Only, okay, yeah. I don't want to read all of this to you. This part I love. I want to make a note of this in the notes. So this next article, partsofmetherapy.com, this is a good exercise before breaking up. So number 1, identify what's keeping you in a relationship. Number 2, identify what's making you leave. Number 3, explore the fears. 4, what's the story behind leaving. Number 5, seek support. That's kind of a lot, but in the beginning, so yeah, there's going to be parts of yourself that wants to stay. Identify those parts and what they think and believe and why you want to stay. think about why you want to leave. Yeah, work through fears, whatever. I thought that was pretty good. Oh, I love this. Okay, so then the next article says end the relationship sooner rather than later, which I said before. And I like it. It says, I get it. It's hard to do something that we know will hurt somebody. But there is no pain free way to break up. Stop avoiding with the hope of finding one. Delaying the inevitable will only build more confusion and resentment between the two of you, making the breakup uglier in the end. Besides, you are not doing the person any favors by holding on, you're just being dishonest. And then, yeah, this says break up in a way that makes sense to your unique situation in a private setting. And okay, yay, this article does say breaking up through technology can create the distance needed to say what you need to say respectfully without confusing emotions distracting you. If you've been trying to break up for a while and there has been constant back and forth of having the breakup talk, then getting back together, you've already fractured the bone and it's hard to make a clean break now. So a text can be very clear. And one thing, you want to not give confusion, which is why no contact helps too. It's like there is no hope, and you're not saying I don't want to be together right now or any of that stuff, or now is just not a good time for me. No, more like this is not a good match for me and stuff like that. This says stick to your decision. Stick to your decision no matter how they respond. Expect that they might say that they'll change, all this other stuff, that they'll do anything. They'll probably cry. They'll probably try to bargain with you. They might get angry to hide their hurt. They might beg you to stay. Expect this going in and brace yourself for it. Trust that you've made the right decision and trust that they and you will overcome this difficult moment. Yeah. When you're alone, reflect on why the relationship ended. Support the breakup with consistent actions. Respectfully cut off contact, at least for a while. Another one saying this, if cut off contact for a while, if not forever. This includes all forms of contact, including looking at their social media. I would block them. I would honestly block them on social media or unfollow at least. Do not initiate any type of contact. Don't be viewing their stories. There are great reasons for this, it says. It indicates that the relationship has changed permanently. It shows respect to the person's feelings by allowing them the time and space to grieve without their interference. Every time they're like exposed to you, it's gonna maybe put their healing back some time. Let them complete, it's like a scab they keep picking at kind of thing. Yeah, and the good thing about blocking on social media is not only do you not see their stuff, but they don't see yours. And I don't know. I asked one of my exes that was the only one that posted a lot on social media. I asked him to block me because I kept looking at his stuff. I was like, please, I can't have a choice in this because I would just unblock him. So sometimes it's nice to the other person to cut that contact too. This says it allows you to move on without overcompensating out of guilt when you see them struggle. Oh, yeah. And this is where it agrees with me, which is probably I got it from somewhere else. Again, in my experience, I've done this many times. In general terms, consider 3 months a minimum of no contact time. I've done this no matter how long the relationship was. 3 months is perfect, no matter how long or serious. Give it a season, then reassess from there. Stop trying to be friends. It's very, very rare, not the rule. I get it. You're afraid of not only losing them romantically, perhaps as a close friend, but you know they want more than friendship with you. Don't insult them by trying to selfishly order their friendship. A la carte, it says. But yeah, it's usually not nice to them and usually will take up emotional space for them to not move on and be open to another person, let alone yourself. Like, what are you trying to do, my friend? Stop trying to force contact that the other person may seem like they want right now, but that would actually cause them so much more emotional distress and complications. As somebody who has stayed in contact with people, even honestly within a relationship, sometimes like you think that you want something and it's causing you so much anxiety and lost sleep and all this stuff. Like, just if it's not right, please just end it. And this, yeah, it says don't try to downshift into a friendship right away. If if you do end up being friends, which again, I haven't really seen it in any real kind of friendship way, but it says if you do, it needs to be after you're completely over the idea of being with them romantically. and both of you need to be processed and moved on. All right, don't try to make the other person feel better. It sends mixed messages. I'm saying the same stuff, but in different ways because you need to hear it. You cannot be part of your ex's support network after you break up with them. Stay in your lane. You cannot be the cause and the cure for their pain. It sucks to be broken up with, but they are big people. They are adults and they can handle it. Get out of their way. Oh, I forgot. I was going to say, oh, I want to talk about this at some point. I'll talk about it later. Yeah, lean on your support network, tell your friends and family that the relationship is over, and just get everybody on pace with the change so you don't have a messy explanation later. Don't isolate yourself. And yeah. Okay, I know this is getting long, but I'm going to keep going. The actual breakup isn't the worst part, actually, afterwards is, because you're used to having them in your life and all the habitual parts of like having somebody to text and all of this stuff. So if you're not mindful of this and shared activities and everything, if you're not mindful of this change, you could fall into old habits of reaching out to them. You kind of have to completely change your life, and you get to kind of reinvent yourself though. It's a huge opportunity to actually choose and be intentional with the things that you fill your life with, because there is going to be many holes or a huge hole to be filled whatever. uh anyway, but that's what I help people with. My mindset coaching is helping people be so intentional with their lives and choose the things that they know that they want to do, even with all the scary emotions that sometimes come with that. But expanding your world, choosing your world is something I love helping people with. So if you want to do that, we should have a conversation for coaching. Done with the articles. Okay, now just a few of my notes to end. Okay, so I know that the actual breakup and everything is like such a hard thing to do. It's so hard. But, and I know that you're afraid to hurt their feelings, but think about this. Either before or after the breakup, whatever, like think about it. You're doing a really hard thing that hurts somebody's feelings, but this could be an opportunity to, like, what else in your life have you been afraid to do? Like, let's say you were afraid to move to Spain or Portugal or take a solo trip to Costa Rica. Think about those kinds of things and be like, hey, if I can do the breakup, going to Costa Rica alone seems less scary potentially. Maybe do that. Maybe apply to a master's program or live on your own. Or is there something scary that you wanted to do? Like, if you're already going through this energy of taking action, even though there is fear, let's also do it in a very positive way that doesn't hurt somebody's feelings, okay? Okay. This is the part that I love too. So, you're going to hurt their feelings. So some things you could think about too is, do you believe that sometimes the kindest thing to do for somebody can be hard and hurtful or hurt their feelings? Like, it reminds me of, if you have little kids or a dog, sometimes you have to tell them no, and sometimes they're going to cry and whine and scream and hate you for it. Like, your teenager might hate you for, I don't know, taking away their phone so that for whatever reason, or grounding them, or just a little kid like no more cookies today or something. You know that boundaries are good, and sometimes you have to say no, even though that's not what the person thinks that they want, but you know that it's better for everybody long term. You know what I mean? Like, you're just, that helps me with like the, I don't know, maybe people pleasing part of it. And then also think about, I just like thinking about how you're not alone, and you're building skills that will translate to other areas. Like, you might need to fire somebody or end a business partnership or a lease, and having a direct conversation, being honest and ending something respectfully is such a skill. Also, I know you don't want to do this. And so another question is, do you believe that sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do? Yeah. Sometimes you have to go to the gym when you don't want to. Sometimes you have to go to bed earlier or wake up earlier when you don't want to. This is life, and you have to do things that you don't want to do. Sometimes that just takes the power away, because instead of it holding you back, you're like, oh, this actually is hard. It does hurt their feelings. I can't support them after. I can't be their emotional support after, and this is going to be hard and a scary thing for me to do. And just acknowledging that kind of stuff and knowing that you can do it anyway can help you. I hope this helps. I am going to end it here. These are some thoughts for me right now. I'm going to post another about playlists and the power of music throughout breakups, before, during, and after. But yeah, hopefully this gives you some good tips and some different perspectives or things to remind yourself of before, during, after breakup. Best of luck to you. I'm always here for you in the DMs. I do free consultation calls. Hit subscribe, hit follow, and I'll talk to you guys soon.